that we're in such difficult times. And this morning, during davening, I was kind of thinking about two parts in the Amida that were speaking to me. And they're not even technically parts of the Amida. They're of the very last paragraph, the added 19th, and the very, very beginning. So Adonai, when we take 3 steps back and 3 steps forward, Adonai sifatetiv tachu fi agi tehilatecha. God, may you please open up my lips so my mouth may declare your praise. And I found this to be so, so interesting because why can't we open up our own lips? What is this that it's saying that we need some extra additional help? And I think that if anything during these times, we're seeing that we're not in control. We don't have the control that we initially thought that we had over our lives and over the world. There's definitely, whether you call it nature or something greater, that is at play. And I think that even, and how does that relate musically? I think that especially now when we're on Zoom, there's so many things that we can't control. If there's going to be outside noises, how do we respond to that? And I think that we just have to, in a way, let go. And even and in terms of our actual singing itself, because we'll all be on mute, but singing, one of the things that we could think of even from the very start when we sing is we don't have to do anything to sing. There's this misconception that I have to sit up straight and I have to have my back in a certain way and there's a certain pose and I have to be smiling and people seeing my teeth, and that's not necessarily the case. Adonai sifatetiv tachu fi agi tehilatecha. Open up my lips so my mouth may declare your praise. We have to give a little bit of effort. We have to put a little air into our body, but if we let go, if we let just our body and everything else do the work, let go of control, the results are actually quite amazing. And so let's do a Niggun, a song that we've done before in the Niggun group so that it's a little bit easier. This is from a rabbi in Chicago. So we did this, I think, the first Niggun session together, and I'm gonna now mute all. And I'll sing the melody a couple times. We won't add the words yet. And let's see how it goes. And I hope the cat enjoys it as well. Ia, ira, ia, ia, ia. Ira, 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 ira. Hala, ira, ira, ia, ia, ia. Ra, ira, 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 ira. So that's the first part, and I'll add kind of hand movements so you can see where the melody is going to help for those who may not know the song. Ira, 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 ira. Ira, 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 ira. Hala, ya, 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 ya. Hala, ya, 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 ya. Ha, ya, 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 ya. Ha, ya, 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 ya. Hala, ya, 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 ya. Ha, ya, 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 ya. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 ra, 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 ra. So I think that should be, for those who have been to some of the workshops before, should be familiar. And it's a very, very circular melody. It just repeats over and over again. And I'll do it one more time before introducing the words. Again, Niggunum, especially on Pesach, the circular part of the melody is so important. Whenever, I think I mentioned this before in other times, but in case you haven't been there, in Western music, you have what's considered linear qualities to music. You have a verse and a chorus, and then another verse, and then a chorus, and then this climax, and then it kind of dips. And that's like most of Western music. It's this very kind of like, it's a story and it has a beginning and it has an end. And Niggunum is very different. Niggunum is a circle. Niggunum, it just, you keep going back and forth and back and forth, and you go to the same part. And you may think, okay, well, okay, Niggunum, well, that sounds really boring. You're just repeating the same thing over and over again. But actually, it's not boring at all, because each time you return to that same part in the middle, you're slightly elevated higher than you were before. And also, I'm seeing that my friend Rabbi Madishahu Brown just joined us, and I'm so happy that he is with us. And I was just I was describing about the linear and the circular in the Niggunum. And so each time we go back to the very beginning part of the Niggunum, we're slightly more elevated than we were previously. And there's this really beautiful idea about what's happening when we elevate within ourselves through the Niggunum. And so I had read this earlier. Nobody invents Niggunum. Niggunum takes you through a door to a ladder, which you climb up, whereupon you gaze upon the face of creation. Then you climb back down the ladder, whereupon you leave by the door you entered. Were you then? Not exactly at the same place, but always where you started. For that's the power of Niggunum. It's a revolving musical door, always returning to you, to earth, so that you can know you must share the experience with others, your friends, your family, with yourself, the Torah insight, the truth that has never been known to you until that very moment. And so that to me is just like this, the essence of Niggunum, that we're able to, through this repetition, reach a higher state of consciousness, reach a higher state of being than we may have experienced before. And we get so elated that then we eventually come back down and we want to share it with others. So while we're going through this Niggunum, we can begin to have this in mind. And each time I'll pause, I'll add something else. And that way we can kind of like try to go a little bit deeper into ourselves, deeper into our hearts. We're also counting the Omer, and the Omer this week is about Chesed. Chesed, I was talking with Madisyahu earlier, is not just about kindness. It could also be translated as love. And so this week is about the heart space. And we'll get to that soon. So I'll sing the melody again. Halahira rahira hiro. Halahiro lalahira hira hira hiro. Halahiro rahiro. Halahiro lahoro. Halahira rahira hiro. Rahira hiro. Halahiro rahira. Halahiro rahiro. Halahiro. Halahira ho lahiro lahiro. Halahira yahira hiro. Halahiro rahira. Halahira lahiro. Halahira yahira hira. Lahiro. Lahira ho lahiro. Halarahirahiro. Halaroraharo. Halahirayorahirai. Okay, we're starting to get going. So let's add the words. The words are just four. They are ahava, ahava, and then which is love. Then virachamim, compassion. Chesed, which is loving kindness. Vishalom, and for the purposes here, we'll translate shalom as I am whole. And so when you add the words, I'll sing it once around more. It sounds like this. Ahava virachamim. Chesed vishalom. Ahava virachamim. Chesed vishalom. And so we're going to do this now for a couple minutes with the lyrics, with the words. And Maris Yahu, if he's there listening, talks about Niggun being the intention is so important. That without the intention of the Niggun, there can be something that's lost. And so if we have the intention that ahava, love, that we can search for love within ourselves, this is the period of the Omer. We're trying to, this is the Jewish self-psychology help book, the Omer. We have these 49 days to work on these attributes within ourselves. And so we could focus on heart. What do we need that we need to open our heart? And while we're singing the Niggunim and singing Ahava, we could be thinking, Ahava, open my heart. And in the same way, then we can also think of Ve'erachamim. What do I need to bring compassion to other people, to remove some of the frustration, the anger, and allow that compassion itself to emerge. And Chesed, kindness, to be gentle and kind, not only to others, but to ourselves. I've been having some friends who are on the front lines working in hospitals, and it's so difficult for them to find self-care right now and have the time for self-care. And I think that's true for many of us, even if we're not working in the hospitals, that there's so much going on. We need to find a space to provide self-care. And then Vishalom, whole, I am whole. There's nothing more I need to do, that as I am perfect just as I am. as Hashem made me. So ahava v'herachamim, chesed v'shalom. Ahava v'rachamim, 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 chesed v'shalom. And just to add some more words, for me, it's almost dark. It is dark outside. So the darkness has arrived, which means that the candles are lit and the time for searching through the light in the darkness means it's easier to see the light. Over near you, it's more afternoon. So the light is already shining. So you might have to try extra hard to find that kind of connection within yourself. My Rebbe, who I refer to as my Rebbe, and a friend of Matisyahu and I's, Yitzhak Buxbaum, always says to me, you know, God is not some theoretical person in the sky. He's he's between you and me. He's between the relationships that we have. He's in the room that you're sitting in. And that if we're still and quiet enough, or if we're singing Niggun, if we're singing strong enough, that we can really feel that presence of, we call it God, the Shekhinah, whatever resonates with us. And I think it's also possible on Zoom. I think it's possible to share that. Shlomo Katz was doing Kabbalat Shabbat a couple of weeks ago, and I found myself to be completely in tears just from the Zoom. It was so powerful and so special. Okay, so let's do this one more time, and then Maddie and Rachel will sing a song I think that they've composed about light. Oh yeah, there you go. Is that Tales of Mystic Joy, or which? Storytelling. That's amazing. Yitzhak is an such a tzaddik. Okay. Ahava v'rachamim, chesed v'shalom. Ahava v'rachamim, chesed v'shalom. I am love. I'm compassionate. I am kind. I am whole. I ahava verachamim chesed v'shalom alayaya ahava verachamim v'chesed v'shalom ahava verachamim chesed v'shalom ahava verachamim chesed v'shalom I am love, I'm compassionate, I am kind, I am love, verachamim chesed v'shalom ahava verachamim chesed v'shalom hayahiraya ahava verachamim chesed v'shalom. Okay. Okay, so Mattis Yahoo and Rachel, I think, have a song that they've composed that they're going to share. That's a song of their own. So I'm going to mute and I'll let them take over.
Hi, everyone. Shalom from Jerusalem.
Want to read the words?
Oh, this is from Psalms Tehillim, number 139. I didn't bring it.
Speaking about darkness and light.
Mm-hmm. It's in English, so.
Do you want to say the part? Just say the words about darkness and light.
Even the darkness hides.
Yeah.
Even the darkness hides nothing from you, and the night shines like the day. The darkness is as light. It's about God being in the darkness everywhere. Yeah. Grab me the drum.
If I ascend to darkness, you are there. And if I make my bed in the grave, behold, you are there. And if I ascend to the heavens, you
Sorry, everyone.
are there. Keep going. You are there.
Let's just start over. Sorry. You sure it's not even the darkness?
No, because it goes really low later.
Okay, so I'm sorry, everyone. Sorry, Devin.
It's been a couple years
Feels
since we did
really
this.
high. Okay.
Okay. Try again. If I ascend to the heavens, you are there. And if I make my bed in the grave, behold, you are there. And if I ascend to the heavens, you are there. You are there. You are there. You are there. Were I to take up wings as the dawn, wings as the dawn, and dwell in the farthest part of the sea, far out to sea. Were I to take up wings as the dawn, wings as the dawn, there too your hand would guide me, your right hand would hold me. Even the darkness hides nothing from you, and the night shines like the day. The darkness is as light. The darkness is as light. It is you, yes, it is you who created my mind, my heart. You covered me, oh, you covered me within my mother's womb. I will thank you, yes, I will thank you, for I was born in an awesome and wondrous way. Unfathomable, unfathomable, unfathomable are your words. Lie, 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 I will thank you, yes, I will thank you, for I was formed in an awesome and wondrous way. Unfathomable, unfathomable, unfathomable are your words, everyone. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. One more time. I will thank you, for I was born in an awesome and wondrous way. Unfathomable, unfathomable, unfathomable are your words. Sometimes the silence is sort of what the music is really about, you know? The Kabbalists have an argument: is music for the sake of the music itself, or is it music for the sake of the silence that comes after? So I like, after we sing, that we could actually hear the resonance of the music still in our soul, and also sense the silence that's the backdrop of it all, the negative space. So Tiferes is about, that's why Tiferes is beauty, because a painting has both a dark color and a light color perhaps. And it's the contrast, it's the bringing together of opposites that makes the beauty, that makes the Tiferes, the splendor. I'm being called to Mariv now. I have to go out to my balcony. We have 10 people on balconies over here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the
God
invitation.
bless.
Thank you so much for singing.
Pesach Sameach.
Peace.
I feel so blessed to have them 4 minutes away, and their Shabbat tables are just singing like that all the time. So I really liked what Rachel and Maddie were saying about the darkness. There's this quote from, just to extend kind of what they were talking about, there's this quote from the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is a book from Eastern philosophy written by Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu just is it translated, it means the name. So meaning that the author of the Tao Te Ching didn't want to be named. He wanted the teachings themselves to stand for themselves. And in there, there's a phrase and a lot about opposites. And it says, within the darkness is another darkness, and in that darkness is the light. So I'll say it again. In the darkness is another darkness. In that darkness is the light. And I've been thinking a lot about that during the pandemic, because on the one hand, we're facing one darkness, which is the pandemic. And within that darkness is another darkness, which is the social isolation. But I think that within that darkness and the social isolation, that there is some light that can be attained. And I find that there seems to be kind of three groups of people of how they're handling the social distancing and the pandemic in general, from people that I know. And one of them, this first kind of cluster of people, are really overstressed, overworked. They're on the front lines. They don't have time to think about anything else. They don't have time for self-reflection. They don't have time. It's truly, I was doing a guided meditation with one last night, who was in England, and we were just supposed to catch up, and immediately ran into a guided meditation because that's what she really needed at that moment. And so that's one cluster. There's another cluster, which is like Maddie and Rachel, who are like with their children, and they have younger kids or slightly older kids that are in the house. And that cluster is, they can't really have any time for self-reflection or independence because they have to give all their attention to their kids. But what it's doing is it's creating this connection and bond that's deeper and richer with the family unit, having meals all the time together at home. And so that's another cluster. And also during this period of social isolation, we might have noticed that during some of the Torah portion was about the building of the Mishkan. And Shlomo Katz was giving over teaching that what Hashem really wants from us right now is to make our houses the synagogues, the holiest places. And that's the forced isolation, is trying to, one opportunity is to bring that about within our current, within our homes. Because before there was never synagogues. There wasn't synagogues. Everything was within the house. And so that's the second cluster. And then there's this kind of third cluster, which I'm more in, which is people who their kids are either grown up or they don't have families yet. And it's this period of very kind of deep inner reflection. And, for example, I've been finding that I'm like davening 4 hours a day or longer. Like, it's just, I don't have anything else. So I just go out on my backyard and balcony and just, what else? But it's also a great opportunity for to find something within, and I think that especially to relate this to Passover. Passover is freeing ourselves from bondage, and it's curious that this Pesach, it seems like we're actually being forced into bondage within our homes. So this is an apparent contradiction, like Matisyahu said, it's these opposites, and the Kabbalistics like to play with opposites. Now, if we take this, an opposite, that we're being forced in bondage into our homes during Pesach, which is trying to be free from bondage, this is an opposite. But if we take like an analogy of a mirror, when we look at a mirror, what happens? We see a reflection, but that reflection is reflected to us in its opposite form. And what I think, there's this really interesting opportunity amongst all the suffering, all the difficulty, all of the pain, that there's an opportunity to actually free ourselves in a deeper way than perhaps in prior years. That we can work on certain things within ourselves, or find something within ourselves, a light within ourselves. I mean, it doesn't have to be so deep. My childhood friend from 5 years old, he just started playing music. That was his, he started to compose songs. That was his personal tikkun. And so I think that actually this period now, we have this tremendous, tremendous opportunity. And if I'm honest with myself, with other people, I'm fearful that we will emerge as a society from this, not necessarily from Pesach, from the social isolation, not changed. And my hope and my blessing and my prayer for everyone is that we emerge as a stronger and more collective unit as a people, that we realize that we're all in the same boat. So with that, I'm seeing that we're starting to run a little bit out of time. So my dad's on the phone, so we're gonna do a Niggun that is a call and response Niggun. That's his favorite song, Niggun. Now this is a Niggun. It's composed by Zach Feldman and Shir Yaakov, and it's often sung to Micha Mocha. And so I'll do the melody. Again, it's very repetitious. We might have done it before. I don't remember. So, okay. I wonder if it's worth it actually to unmute people, because it's call and response. Let's just give it a shot. We'll try it once. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I'm gonna unmute all, and I'm gonna come in with the melody and just repeat it. And let's see how it works. Yeah, I think okay. I think that's good enough. I'll count you in. Hi rai 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 ro. Hi rai 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 ro. Okay. Hi rai 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 ro. Hi rai 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 ro. Hi rai rai ro 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 ro. Then it starts from the beginning. Hi rai 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 ro. Hi rai 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 ro. Hi rai 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 ro. Hi rai rai ro rai rai ro. Hi rai rai ro. Hi rai rai ro. Hi rai rai ro ro. Hi rai rai ro. So there's a few things that, again, to bring back the idea of intentionality, is we could think about, before I was talking about the ladders, and when we're singing Niggun, we're ascending and we're descending the ladder constantly. And if you look at this melody, the melody has this beautiful arc. You're kind of climbing a mountain. Hi rai 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 ro. Hi rai 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 ro. Hi rai 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 ro. Hi rai 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 ro. Hi rai 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 rai. So it's very much like, it's just this bell curve, this like beautiful kind of wave, and you're just floating like over this ocean. Rai 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 ro, rai 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 ro, re ai 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 o ro ro, ai rai rai ro, rai 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 ro, ai rai 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 ho, ai 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 ho ro. It's really interesting that music can tell a story like that just from the direction that the melody goes. Um, Hey, ay, ay, oh, oh, ay, 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 oh. Ay, 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 oh. Ay, 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 oh. Ay, 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 oh. Ay, ay, oh. Ay, 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 oh. Ay, 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 oh, no. Ay, rai, rai, ro. Rai, 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 rai. Oh, rai, rai, ro, ro. Alai, ro. Ay, ay, ro, rai, ananai. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 oh, le, re, ay, 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 oh. Ay, 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 oh, re, ay, 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 oh. Ay, 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 oh, le, re, ay, ay, oh, ro, la, ro. Ay, 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 ro, 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 le, re, ay, ay, ro. Hi ra hi ra hi ro re re ra hi ra hi ro ra hi ra hi ro ra hi ro re re ra hi ra hi ro hi ai o re re ra hi ai o ro la la ro re re ra hi ai ro ra la la ra re ra hi ra hi ro ra oh ai ai ro ro ai ra hi ro 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 ai ra hi ro ro ra mi ha mo ha mi ha mo ha Ahelim Adonai, Ahelim Adonai, Mi chamocha, Mi chamocha, Nedar b'koden, Nedar Nora, Nora, Tehilot, Tehilot, oh, say, oh, say, Michamocha, Michamocha, Ahelim Adonai, Ahelim Adonai, Michamocha, Michamocha. Nedar b'kodesh, Nedar b'kodesh. Who is like you among the heavenly powers, God? Who is like you, mighty holiness, awesome beyond praise, doing wonders, continually doing wonders. So I'll do one more Niggun, which is a special Niggun for the Omer and the counting of the Omer, and um, for the blessing of the Omer. And this is by Yosef Goldman, who was at the Rising Song Institute, and I think Zach Feldman also co-wrote it. I first heard this, I was at Romamu in New York, and gosh, I loved this song. Absolutely loved it. And at the time, I had no idea what the actual words were or the lyrics, but I just loved it. And I look forward each and every year to be able to sing this and to be able to sing it each night. I mean, talk about a heart-opening Niggun. There's videos, I think, online that I'll share at the end that you can see with the full instrumentation and really beautiful. Hi, 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 ro, lo, ho, ho. Hi, 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 li, hi, yo. Hi, li, hi, 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 li, yo, ro. Hi, 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 li, hi, yo. Hi, hi, ro, da, hi, 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 ro, ro. Hi, 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 hi. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ay, 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 ay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hi, 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 hi. Hi, 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 hi. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, na na ya 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 na ho. Yeah, na na ya ya ya. Yeah, na na yo la yo. I'll sing this a few more times and I'll add the blessing to it. Tonight, when you sing, it's going to be the fourth night of the Omer. And we're working on Chesed tonight. And I'll read, this is just from Chabad.org that tells a little piece of what to work on in the heart space, which is my love enduring? Does it withstand challenges and setbacks, ups and downs of life? How much am I ready to fight for the love I have? Does my love have spirit and valor? And what to do for today, it suggests do something that takes fight for a loved one. As I was singing that just now, I was just feeling it's like, you know, we're all down here on earth going through this right now. And it's like, Hashem, please open our hearts. Let us do whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing right now to change for the better, to change our ways. So I've got here the Breslov Haggadah, which has Mattis Yahoo lent to me, and which has the blessing in it for the Omer. So I'll sing it a few times, and then afterwards we can kind of open it up and chat for a few minutes. So if you're singing along, this is like probably a great point to send out the prayers to ask for whatever it is that we want to ask for ourselves and families and our community and for the world.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu v'tzivanu v'tzivanu al sirat haomer al sfirat haomer al sfirat haomer al sfirat haomer yalai dai 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 yalai dai 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 yalai dai 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al tirat haomer al tirat haomer al tirat haomer al tirat haomer yalai dai dai yo halai do dai yo halai dai dai yo halai do ai hamai
Yom Yom Echad Omer, Hayom Rabba'i, Yanim La'omer. I'm wishing you all many blessings and many prayers and a lot of strength as we go through these uncertain times. And I hope that you're able to find many points of light in the darkness throughout each and every day. Chag Sameach. And I'll unmute everyone now and we can chat. If you have to go, you can go, but I'll stay on for another about 10 minutes. There we go. Everyone's unmuted. The chains and bonds are off.
תודה רבה.
Akasha.
Thank you. Just what the doctor ordered.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Chag Sameach, David. I hope you're well.
Chag Sameach, I am. Thank God. Thank you. So which Yitzhak Buxbaum book was that you showed in the background? I saw.
It was it's storytelling and spirituality in Judaism.
Oh yeah.
Just got it. I haven't started it yet. A couple days ago.
Amazing. That's a great synchrony.
We said.
There's there you go. There's my Abba.
Thank you, David, for Mika Mocha. It reminded me of some very fun Shabbats at Romamu. I really appreciate that. It was beautiful.
Pleasure. So yeah, my Abba is not too far from you all. He's in Marlton, so we're just around the corner.
Mount Laurel.
Yeah.
Happy Pesach to all.
You too. To you too.
Thank you.
And if you haven't, there's other Yitzhak Buxbaum books that are terrific. Jewish Spiritual Practices, if you don't have that, is incredible. It's about a 700 or 800 page book that's a systematic, almost like instruction manual for how to achieve God consciousness. So this very esoteric idea of how do you attain this oneness with God, and it's from this Hasidic renewal flavor of writing, and just a beautiful book. And for every single Jewish occasion or ritual or tradition, there's like in-depth thought about how to achieve different
I'm not on mute, but you can see.
spiritual nutrients. And then another great one is there's a book devoted just to women in stories of women in the Torah. And there's also a book called The Light and Fire of the Baal Shem Tov, which has these beautiful, beautiful stories of the Baal Shem Tov. It's in fact, there was a guy who wrote a rock and roll song that was inspired by the book. To really just has these fabulous stories of the Baal Shem Tov, and a lot of really interesting ones about music too, about the Baal Shem Tov going up and seeing a kind of a street beggar who was playing the violin, and he stopped by and was listening for like an hour, and his disciple said, why are you listening to this street beggar, this simple person? And the Baal Shem Tov said, I can hear through his music every single event and day of his life. That the music was that powerful, and that the Baal Shem Tov had those ears that he was able to really, he could see the soul of the person through the songs and the music that they were playing. And it's actually cool. I mean, even now, hundreds of years later, neuroscience studies are showing us that when we improvise and compose music, we're activating autobiographical parts of the brain that sit right around the prefrontal cortex, which is absolutely fascinating.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So,
David, it's Larry speaking. I'm a little under the weather, which is why I'm not posting my picture right now. But I was hoping that I missed this, and I was just talking with someone the other day, a friend of mine, and I was telling her about this. So I hope you can do this every couple months or so for us. This is really nice.
sure, I would be happy to.
That'd be great.
How are things in Israel? I mean, if you'd like, would you mind? I mean, I'm getting between all the things you're telling us, or among all the things you're telling us, what you've been doing. But how are things in Israel? How long have you been there? Are you in Yerushalayim? If you care to, can you just update us as to how you're doing?
Yes.
If you care to, if you don't, fine.
Yeah, thank you for asking. It's been definitely an adventure, but the kind of path here has been very clear. And I arrived right before Hagim in September, and I found an apartment relatively quickly and settled in,
Great.
and we have made it my home. And I am now considering, Dad, you can close your ears, making Aliyah, which is, I mean, it feels very good. So that's, and I'm here doing research. So I'm doing a lot of interesting research with Israelis and Palestinian singers, and doing work with autistic kids and adults. I'm doing some social neuroscience studies with people singing Niggun back in New York, actually. So things are really, in terms of that, are really going well. And things in Israel in terms of COVID, Israel, I think, has been recently ranked out of the places that have been most affected, one of the top places in terms of the response. And so I've been very lucky. I feel very safe here. And I am in Yerushalayim. I'm in a city called Nachlaot, which is about a 30-minute walk from the Kotel. It's in a very old city. The building that I'm in, the landlord's grandfather built it over 100 years ago. It's a very special place. And I get to daven and have Shabbat with Madisyahu and Rachel often. And there's a lot of very nice people here, and very spiritual, but also very artistic and musical. Yeah, thank goodness. It definitely gives me, kind of fills my heart and soul. And there isn't a dull moment for certain.
Well, I'm happy that you're listening to your neshama, and I think I've told you this before. Just be David, and you'll be great.
That's very sweet. Thank you. Yeah, that reminds me. There's this saying. I'm forgetting now who said it. Which prophet? But basically, they said, why don't you want to be like Moshe? Why don't you want to be like Moshe Rabbeinu? And he said, well, there is already a Moshe Rabbeinu. Like, in God's eyes, why would I want to make another one? Like, I just want to be myself and do what I'm supposed to do here.
It's very beautiful. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm a little under the weather, but it was beautiful.
No worries. Thank you for joining.
And I miss it.
Okay, me too. So we can do this. I'm happy to do it we can do it every couple of months, or
Great.
Yeah. And how's the community doing in Mount Laurel?
Pretty much the same as every place else around here. I mean, everybody's pretty much staying at home and wearing masks when they go grocery shopping, and social distancing and washing hands, and busy using disinfectant everywhere. So from a physical perspective, from an emotional perspective or spiritual perspective, Darcy and Micah have done a great job, along with our rabbi, of keeping our community connected, and that's been wonderful. I think that has made a huge difference for people, and I'm very appreciative of that community.
So although Amy shared this with me privately, I have to share with everyone. She said, "Thank you for making this happen. It's so good to remember there is joy."
Beautiful. Beautiful.
We're going to head out. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm just gonna really meant to say this at the beginning. I'm just sending up prayers to a friend of mine passed away this past week.
I'm sorry.
Gabriela, Raphael, and Ashema.
Not believe.
So
Be well.
okay.
Well,
Be well, everyone.
Thank you, David. Speak to you soon.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, David. Oh, David, can you send me the video when you get it?
Sure. I'll send it over Dropbox or WeTransfer. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.